Namaskar, I am Manoj Joshi. I have the pleasure to talk to you something that is very important right now when we all are having a difficult time. So life is like a game and we have to learn all the rules and regulations, practice before playing the game so that there is a better chance of winning the game. Because there is always, like if you play a game, you'd like to win the game. But also you have to have a sportsman spirit. Let others also win. So we have to learn how to play the game well with the goal of enjoying the game. Not just winning all the time. And we should learn how to appreciate even if other persons win in the game. So today I'm going to talk about how life is a game and what are the precise rules. It's a great practice for us also to continue the concept and then relate to different aspects of yoga and Vedanta, which gives us meaningful tools and techniques in our personal life, both for our family, for our community, and a global humanity at large. So let's talk about the first rule that is very important in this game of life. The first rule is gratitude. We must be grateful for things that is given to us. And why do we need to be grateful? Because when you feel grateful for something, it just opens up our hearts and minds. We try to become a little bit more expansive. In a mean-mindedness, in a selfish attitude, it will be very difficult to genuinely be grateful for something. So on the contrary, if you're truly becoming grateful for somebody in your life or for something that you have enjoyed, obviously it opens up the hearts and minds and you become a little bit more permeable so that the divine grace can flow through you in a right way and you also experience the lightness of life. And many of the studies have already proven that gratitude begets happiness and happiness begets health. So those people who practice gratitude on an ongoing basis every day, they have been found to be more happier in life, more happy in life. And many studies have already proven that if you practice happiness, if you practice smiling, as we talked yesterday, or when we talked about the stress or smile, so the stress will not have so much of negative impact in your body or mind. Openly be grateful for someone in your life or for something that you have been given. Naturally, if that person makes a mistake, you'll not hold that grudge all your life for a longer time. You'll rather practice forgiveness in a natural way in order to practice gratitude. Because if you are holding something negative for someone in your life for a long period of time, I don't think you'll be able to practice genuine gratitude. So again, coming back, when you practice gratitude on an ongoing basis, you will tend to become more forgiving. So that forgiveness is a divine quality. So gratitude is bringing happiness, gratitude is bringing forgiveness, and also if you practice gratitude on a daily basis, you will become more approachable by others. And the best practice for being grateful is early morning when we start the day, as we always believe that morning shows the day. So if you start something with a good note, with a good positive vibe, by becoming grateful about the oxygen that we are getting, grateful about the heart, the lungs, the wonderful body that we have been given, grateful for the house that we have, grateful for the family that we have, grateful for a job that we may have, or whatever that is there. If you have an open-mindedness, you can get a list of things that you'll be grateful about. It reminds me of a story of someone who was so frustrated in his life. He wanted to go to someone that can give him some kind of hope. So he went to a friend of his. He happens to be an insurance agent. and he was so sad, so depressed. But his friend was very smart. He started asking, after a long time they met, he said like, oh, I'm so sorry that you lost your wife. Then this person said, who told you that I lost my wife? Oh, you have a wife. So number one, you have a wife. Then he said that, I'm so sorry that your house got burnt in the last fire. Then he said, who's told you that my house got burnt? Oh, you have a house. Okay, number two, you have a house. Oh, I'm so sorry that you had an accident, your car got totaled. No, my car is all in good condition. Oh, you have a car also. I'm so sorry that you lost your job last month. Who told you that I lost my job? I have a wonderful job. Oh, you have a job also. So likewise, he went on listing things that he has. And this opened up the perspective of this person. Like, no, look, it's very easy to find out what you don't have. But it takes some time to introspect and reflect what are things that life has already given you. So when you start listing them and when you start thinking about them, reflecting on those every night before you go to sleep, it will build up an attitude of gratitude. And in the principle of Reiki, this is the first principle that we practice. Just for today, I will live with an attitude of gratitude. So being grateful for everything and offering that gratitude in a formal way before we start our day and before we end our day. That will be a good routine to practice. Now the second rule of the life is about appreciate. We must learn how to appreciate sincerely. I was reading this book, the Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, way back in my school days. Because, in the school days you need to learn some tricks and tricks to make new friends. Because when you move to a high school or middle school, you have to learn certain techniques. And that book was very helpful. So one of the golden rules that it said that you have to learn how to honestly and sincerely appreciate somebody by calling somebody's first name, say for example, by genuinely looking for something that is specifically interesting or appreciation. You have to be pinpointed. You have to be genuinely a particular part, maybe the color of the dress that person is wearing, maybe the shoes that person is wearing, or the earring that person is wearing. So you have to be very, very specific and talk about that appreciation in a very genuine and sincere way, and that appreciation will immediately touch the heart of the other person, and that person becomes very close to you. And in our personal life also, we take a lot of things for granted. Even though we feel so good when somebody appreciates us in our life, but it's very rare that we take our time to introspect and think about to appreciate someone else in our life. And everybody makes a mistake. So constantly you have to introspect and reflect at the end of the day, every day, how many people did I appreciate in my life today? And it's a collaborative effort. Our life is not done in loneliness. Even if we think about the meal that we ate today, at least 20 people must have exchanged their hands to bring that food to our plate, isn't it? Think about an apple that you eat. That farmer sowed that seed long time ago. There are so many raindrops, so many sunshine. So many things have been invested by the nature to make that apple tree. Somebody plucked the tree, apple from the tree. Somebody packaged it. Somebody brought it to the store. Somebody got it for you, right? The knife that you're cutting is also made by somebody. The cutting board that you're using also made by somebody. So if you look at least 20 people's hands have been exchanged to bring that food onto your plate. And if we don't practice that appreciation for all those people that have really been behind the scene, it not only gives us a lack of opportunity or kind of a missing opportunity to be appreciating to others, but it also creates a negative karma. And our ancient rishis or the ancestors, they institutionalize your practice. Before you start eating your food, you must offer it to the Mother Earth, offer it to the universe, offer it to the God by chanting some mantras to purify the food and to appreciate all those people who have made that food available for you. So I'm just giving an example of the food, but likewise there will be so many different things that we may be able to find out where we can genuinely appreciate the people in our life, starting with our close loved ones and going to the friends and colleagues, neighbors, all the people. Even sometimes you have to think back and then do a meditation on appreciation. Maybe you have forgotten appreciating your old friends in your school days or the teachers who taught you alphabets. So sometimes we have to practice this appreciation retrospective. Maybe you can send a letter, maybe send some money, some donation to someone that you think have done a great work, but you have failed to appreciate that person in your life. So in the past, or going back to the past, being in the present, definitely we should learn how to appreciate sincerely. That's the second rule. And the third one is very important, is about mindfulness practices. Because mindfulness is a extension of yoga concept. As you know, when you practice yoga, the stretching that we do, you can't just stretch like a physical exercise only. You have to be mindful about that. Whatever body part that is exposed in stretching your hands or legs, you have to be very mindful. So mindful is a natural extension of being present in the moment, accepting things as they are, having a curiosity of your mind, being compassionate to yourself and others, and paying attention to everything. So if you look at all the different aspects, so you have to be present in the moment to pay attention to what's happening around. That means you're alert. Not just your body is present, but your mind, your soul, your emotion, the wholeheartedly you're present there. Like when you have a conversation with somebody, you have to be fully present, mindful about everything. Mindful about the words that the other person is talking about, mindful about the questions that you're asking, mindful about the body language that you may be using, the non-verbal cues that you might be getting. So when you become fully present in any given moment of time and try to see things, try to feel things using all your sense organs, the different instruments of perception that is given to us, obviously you will invest more of your consciousness. And the yoga talks about wherever you invest your consciousness, your awareness, the experience of that becomes more fruitful or becoming more intimate, more profound experience. Like a conversation with mindfulness can become a very intimate conversation. When you're eating your food with mindfulness, your food will have more nutrients. It will have more nourishment. The assimilation power of your body will increase. So in any aspect of our life, if you practice mindfulness as an ongoing practice, both formally and informally, you will become very alert in your mind, present. Your mind will not wander so much between the past and the future. You'll learn to be present, and there is always this power of now. So the now is the gift. So if you try to practice mindfulness in anything and everything that you do 24/7, all through the time, it is a practice. So like people say meditation. Meditation can be done for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour. But one of my teachers said that there is no concept like 2 minutes of meditation or 5 minutes of meditation. Meditation has to be 24/7, all your life. You have to be in that state of meditation. And where exactly the yoga also talks about similar concept that I shared earlier. Yoga Rudha Kuru Karmani. That means be in the state of yoga and do everything. And we also explain in a different way. Don't do something for pleasure, do something in pleasure. So when you become mindful, obviously you will have the pleasure of doing it because your consciousness is involved. Because you are accepting things as they are. You are not asking questions. There is no complaints about everything. You just learn how to accept things and how I can do the best with a curious mindset. Right? The curiosity is very, very important. Like in a different way, people say when the apple falls down from the tree to the ground, so everybody understood why the apple falls down. Only one person did not understand why the apple fell down, and he was Sir Isaac Newton. And he investigated for 10 years, he did the research and found out this concept of gravity. So we take for granted. We don't become curious about things, why something happens in our life the way it is happening. So when you become curious and accept as such, become compassionate with yourself and others, and be present in the moment, the formal practice of mindfulness, you will become more happier in life. You become more healthier in life. And that is our goal, to be totally healthy, to be truly happy. Automatically, it will happen by practicing mindfulness. And the last rule today I want to share is expect. You must learn how to expect things in a positive way. We do our best, but also we must expect. So there is a little trick to that. Suppose you expect certain things and then it doesn't happen the way that you expected. It normally causes frustration. But if you go back to the previous step that I talked about, that you are practicing mindfulness, you're learning how to accept things as they are. So they're related. So even if something happens in a different way than what you originally planned for, you still learn how to accept those. So with a proper acceptance and expectation, if you learn how to balance them out, you'll find life will be more easygoing. You'll have problems, but there will be less suffering. You'll enjoy life more. The game of life I'm talking about, it will be more pleasuresome by putting the right expectations, by doing everything it takes. Do the hard work, everything you must do. And even if something doesn't happen, have that gratitude again. So one of the best example of having that right expectation is a farmer. When a farmer sows the seed on the ground, like corn seeds, so he will naturally plan for the subsequent phases of the harvesting, where exactly how he will harvest and how much of corn will come out, how he can do the marketing. He has to plan for the whole thing for another 6 months to 1 year. He doesn't really makes a doubt what will happen if something doesn't grow. So he has a very positive expectations the moment he sows the seed on the ground. Like a mother, an expecting mother would always have that expectation to have the baby. And probably that has been related to the hormones that the body secretes to help her sustain through the intense labor pain. So that expectation of being a mother, expectations of being a farmer, expectations of doing something out of passion, out of love, automatically you will overcome the stress and worries attached to the result of it. In Bhagavad Gita they talk about karmanyeva adhikarastha ma phaleshu kadachana. That means invest in the process, automatically the result will happen. And whatever that result happen, accept it the way they are and then move on. See, this is a cycle. So we talked about gratitude, being grateful for everything. We talked about how to appreciate things in our life, about people, about things that we get. And you become mindful, be present in the moment, and other parts of the mindfulness we talked about, and expect. But you have to have a good set of mindset for this. You have to have a positive mindset. You have to think about that the nature is bountiful. It is giving me whenever I ask with that gratitude, but also have an open-mindedness. I'll give a small story to exemplify what I'm talking about. Like it is a story of one person on the bank of a pond, like he was fishing. And from a distance, another person was just observing. So the person who was fishing, he will put the fishing rod and wait for some time. A fish will come, and suppose the fish is big, and he will put it back again to the river, to the pond. And again he'll start putting the fishing rod. A small fish will come, and he'll put it back on his back. And then again put it down. A bigger fish come, he puts it back again on the water. So only he was collecting small fishes and letting go of the big ones. And then this person who was observing for half an hour to 1 hour, he got astonished, like why this person is doing so. And he went to him and approached him, like why are you throwing away those big fishes? And why were you collecting only the small fishes? You have taken so much of time to get those big fish. He said, like, in my home, I have got only a 6-inch frying pan. That's why, I don't know how to do with the big fish. Right? So having that 6-inch frying pan attitude sometimes causes a lot of trouble in our life. So you must have a big receptacle. You must have a big prepared mind. We must build our capacity to have that bountiful resource that comes to our life after you apply all these different rules that we talked about. So if we become a little bit more careful, I talked about gratitude, I talked about appreciate, talked about mindfulness, and talked about expect. So if you put them together, what does it become? Game. G-A-M-E. As I started, life is a game, play it well. So in order to remember the rules of the game, you can also get it from the word game itself. G for gratitude, A for appreciation, M for mindfulness, and E for expecting, positive expectations. And even if something doesn't happen the way that you expected, again start from the same rule. Again become grateful for whatever opportunity that you got.